Blessings and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast, a weekly and practical podcast with the intention to inspire, empower, and uplift us all to wake up to who and what we are, so that we, that is you and me, may forever allow for greater and grander expressions of that who and what to emerge, with ease and grace. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and I'm your host. Blessings, and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast. I'm used to saying weekly, but it's been such a long time since I did one of these. And I'm not sure where this goes, but welcome to this practical and awesome podcast about us awakening, and about us moving along the path to freedom, allowing for more peace and love and joy and harmony and abundance and good than we have ever imagined to flow into our experience, to flow into our lives with ever increasing ease and grace, because that's what this is all about. This is not about making anything happen. This is not about manipulating anything to seek to change circumstances to fit our wants and what we think we need, but this is about us surrendering to that which is seeking to emerge, surrendering to that next great and grand expression of who and what we are to emerge, so that we may live in peace, so that we may be in peace, regardless of circumstances, regardless of conditions. Mind you, when we change, everything begins to change. So this is not about us staying in the same place forever, being stuck in the same lot forever, but this is about us participating, co-creating our lives so that we move into greater and greater harmony and alignment with all the good that we desire, not through changing the outside, but through changing us, through transformation. And so I'm very happy to be here, and I've got our little kitten with me. He's very curious and wants to participate as well, so you may see him pop in and out. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy that you are here. As I said, it's been such a long time since I did one of these episodes, but for quite some time now I've been experiencing an increasing longing, an increasing missing of doing these. These were, and as I'm realizing it now, these are very valuable to me. This is about, even though I'm sharing and trusting that what I am sharing also serves all of you who are tuning in. First and foremost, this is for me. This is my space of exploring myself, of bringing sort of a coherence out of this path, which is not always making sense at all. For me to, so that I may navigate through whatever I'm going through. So as much as I'm grateful that you're tuning in, I'm immensely grateful for having caught this idea of this podcast and for all of the good that it brings me. All right, so before I don't even know what this is about. This is the topic for today, is something along the lines of I think you need to hold on for a moment. something along the lines of discerning what is real from what is not real, or something to that effect. Something to that effect. But before we move into the exploration of all of this, as always, if you remember, if you've tuned in before, I always want to begin, and I invite us all to begin in a moment of stillness and a moment of silence, to sort of center ourselves, to come back to the nowness of this moment, and then an opening prayer or an evocation. And so in this moment, I invite you to make yourself comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes. Perhaps take a deep breath so as to release, let go of thoughts, opinions, and perceptions as to what should and should not be, of external conditions, circumstances, events, people, places, and come back to here, to now. And I invite us to bring a smile to our face. That smile obviously sends the signal to the body that all is well, so that the body may begin to relax, release tension, release anxiety, and begin to produce loving and healing chemicals. And I invite us to gently tap between our eyebrows to activate that first eye, so that we may be increasingly open and available to catch that which cannot really be caught with our human senses. And while we tap, I invite us to gently state that all is well, right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for the highest good. All is well. Something wonderful is happening. Everything is working for the highest good. All is well. Something wonderful is happening, and everything is working for the highest good. We may release the tapping. I invite us to gently place our hands in our laps, palms facing upward, thumb and middle finger touching as a sign of receptivity. Let's turn our attention toward the breath, realizing that the body is fully capable and able of doing the breathing by itself, which means that we do not need to make the breathing happen. We do not need to participate even in the breathing, but we get to observe and witness it as it happens. And I invite us also to become aware that each breath has 4 stages to it. There's the in-breath, the out-breath, there's a space between in and out breath, there's a space between out and in breath. And it is that last stage that I invite us to become particularly aware of. When the exhalation has happened, and before the inhalation happens, that's usually where our attention drifts away from the breath. But being mindful of this space, which is not a void, it is a state of equilibrium. Being aware of this allows us to sustain our attention on the breath for longer and longer periods with ever-increasing ease and grace. So taking on the feeling tone that all is well, I invite us to give the peace that follows permission to move us deep, deep, deep into the stillness and into the silence. And if our thoughts wander away from the breath, I invite us to gently turn them back to the breath and begin again. And also, if we are experiencing physical sensations, experiencing an itch on my forehead right now. The invitation is for us to simply observe that sensation, and perhaps even turn that into our focal point, turning our intense focus, our intense attention to that sensation, allowing it to be what it is. There's no need for us to engage in it or do anything about it. We can simply observe it, witness it, and it will begin to dissolve eventually. Let's come back to the breath and begin again. Let's come back to the breath and begin again. And as I move us into an opening prayer, I invite us to remain with our eyes closed, comfortable, open, available, receptive to catch the vibration of this evocation, giving permission to move us into an even higher vibration, into an even more expanded consciousness. So in this moment, standing firm in gratitude, I am grateful. I am grateful to be who I am, to be where I am, for who I'm becoming. I'm grateful for my life and all that it contains, every aspect of it. I'm grateful to know and feel that all is well. Something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for the highest good. I'm grateful to be on this path of awakening, this path of freedom. That I get to do this work. That I get to do this work. For that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this space, for this podcast, for this healing space they provide, at least for me. A space of healing, a space of expansion, a space of exploration and releasing and letting go of that which no longer serves. And I'm grateful for your participation, your co-creation, regardless of whenever you're tuning in or wherever you're tuning in from, regardless of whoever you are. Just by tuning in, you're contributing. So for that, I'm grateful. From this space of gratitude, I know the allness and the goodness and the divine perfection that Spirit is. That all of God is fully present in every here and in every now. All the love is here now. All the peace is here now. All the joy is here now. All the abundance is here now. The wholeness, it is here now. God is always for itself. Never ever against itself. Never ever denying itself anything. Never ever delaying itself anything. Always seeking to come into ever greater and greater expressions of itself. Ever greater and greater revelations of itself. In essence, through all of creation. And thus, God is always sourcing and fueling and funding itself, sustaining, maintaining itself, guiding and leading and moving itself into ever greater and grander expressions of itself. Always with divine perfection, never late, never early, never making a mistake, never a random act, but always divine order. Always divine order. So what this means is that right here where I am, I and God are one. I'm unique and perfect emanation of this one. I'm Spirit expressing itself in essence through me. I'm wholeness expressing itself in essence through me. I'm peace expressing itself in essence through me. And as this is true for me, I know it's the truth for every single being tuning in. Every single being in all of creation, every single being, every single object, every single moment. It is all God. It is all Spirit. So I bless this space. I bless this episode. I bless this recording. I bless the technology. I bless myself. I bless you for tuning in, knowing that healing is happening. Knowing that love is happening now. Knowing that something wonderful is happening now. That expansion is happening now. That release and let go is happening now. That God is happening now. In essence, through each and every single one of us, in essence, through this space. So I let it be, so it is, so be it, so shall it be. Amen. Ashe, Aho, Hotep, Shalom, Salam, and Hallelujah. Alright, so welcome to the new us. To the new you, to the new me. Because even though not that much time has passed since this episode began, the you and me that are here now are not the same as the ones who tuned in. But expansion has happened. Release and let go has happened. We've changed. So welcome to this space that is about, let me see if I can remember the topic. Discerning the truth from what seems to be, or discerning the truth from appearances. And this all has to do with obviously something that I'm experiencing and something that I'm moving through for quite some time, actually, in a couple of weeks. I have been in a state of resistance. I have been in a state of wishing that my circumstances were different. I've been trying to change my circumstances. And as I have not been able to change the circumstances, I've been finding myself in quite a murky mode. There's been a lot of resistance. There's been a lot of irritation, frustration. There's been a lot of trying to get away from where I am. Which ultimately is only me trying to get away from me and from my experiences. But then yesterday something, and I've been trying this condition that I've been trying to change is actually another individual, and we work quite closely together, so we see each other pretty much every day and all day long, and I have not been able to release the stories that I have created around this individual, the stories as to what this individual should be or should not be. But I have been caught, and I'm let me just let the little kitten out. I've been holding on to opinions and judgments about this individual, and this of course has created a havoc within me. It's like that old Native American saying that swallowing, or actually holding on to resentment and negativity, is like swallowing poison and hoping that the other will be affected by it. The other, in this case, has been affected by it, but not as much as me. I've been in a hellhole, which has nothing to do with perhaps Christianity's or any kind of religion's definition of hell, but it's been a state of hell or heaven, and heaven is always a state of consciousness. It is always a state of mind where we either react to external conditions, and that's hell, trying to change them, beating our head against whatever is going on, or we can live in heaven, which is embracing and allowing, which is releasing resistance, which is releasing judgments, which is releasing opinions and thoughts as to what should and should not be. So I've been living in the former, where there's been much emotional turmoil and a lot of mental turmoil as well. And I've been praying, I've been asking spirits, I've been doing all these things to find a way to navigate through this. And it came to the point where I, a number of days ago, came to the conclusion that the only option I have is to remove myself from this individual. And that, of course, is the easy way out. That's the easy way out. Were I to terminate our collaboration, I'd be free of this individual, but I would not in any way, shape, or form be free of my tendency to judge, my tendency to latch on to opinions. So it would not be anything else but a band-aid on top of the wound. It would not heal the wound. But that's what I caught, what I needed to do. And then, beginning yesterday, I was writing in my journal, and I sensed a small shift. I could not really articulate it, I could not really iterate it, but something shifted. And this morning, I realized that there obviously is another option. As I said, me and this individual, we are spending quite a lot of time together, and one of the needs, I know I've talked about this at length before, I have these 4 spiritual needs that I absolutely need to attend to them. I absolutely need to honor them. They are for me to be in meditation every day. They are for me to engage in physical exercise every day. They are for me to engage in have a creative space every day. And they are for me to have a breathing space. And that last one, over these last few years, I have sort of neglected it, and it has worked. It has worked. I mean, I have not been as affected by not giving myself that breathing space as I am now. And this has been for the last number of months. This one, as the other ones are stabilized, I do move into meditation every day. I do some kind of physical movement every day. I do have a creative space pretty much every day. But this last one is not as stabilized as the other ones. But I'm becoming more and more aware, acutely aware, that I absolutely need to give myself space. And so what I realized today was, and I've been moving through all these forgiveness exercises with regards to this individual. And forgiveness, of course, is not about condoning or accepting the behaviors of any other individual, but it is all about me releasing, finding a way to release and let go of these attachment, these stories, these opinions that I have, but I have not been able to. And another aspect of all of this is that this is an individual that I've had in my life for many, many years, and from time to time this same condition has arisen. This same experience where I find myself having a lot of judgment and opinions around this individual. It's like it's moving in circles. And every time I do work around it, and in retrospect, I am able to temporarily release these judgments, but they appear again. So here we go again, another round of forgiveness. But what I realized is that this is not at all about the other individual, but this is all about me not giving me what I need, me not honoring what I need to do to stay in high vibration, what I need to do to be stabilized, to be centered in the nowness of this moment, to be grounded in the nowness of this moment. Because whenever we are in the nowness of this moment, we may still experience, and I may still experience these opinions and judgments, but as long as I'm standing firm, using my breath as we did in the meditation, as long as I'm standing firm in the nowness of this moment, these stories and these judgments and these thoughts as to what should and should not be, they're like clouds in the sky. I get to observe them, just like we got to observe the breath in the meditation. I get to observe them. I don't need to identify with them when I'm standing firm in the nowness in this moment. But when I lose my footing in the now, when I get caught up by time, past, present, future, that's when these stories become real. That's when they become a thing. They are no thing when I'm merely observing them, but they become a thing when I'm latching onto them, when I'm getting caught up by them, when I believe them, when I identify with them. And so what I need to find a way to come back to the nowness in this moment is to give myself more space to just be. More space to just be. And so what I caught is that for me, what I need to do is, because we're working in the same office and we share the same space pretty much all day, and I need to find a way for me to not be in that space, to have my own space, a space that is no one's but mine, a space where I can and this may sound strange, and I'm not sure that safe is the right word, but a space where I can feel safe. A space where I get to protect my consciousness, a space where I get to sustain my consciousness, a space where I get to fortify my vibration, a resting yeah, like a fortress or a base camp is perhaps a better word. I don't know how mountain climbing goes, but I do believe there's something called a base camp, which is a camp that the climbers use as a base, and or whatever. I need I need a base camp that is no one's but mine, from which I can venture out into the world, be in the world, not of the world. But as it's been right now, and for quite some time as we're sharing this space, even though we're doing different things, I mean, I have my clients and all that, and this individual is doing their things, but we still share this space. So I have no base camp. I have no space where I can close the door and know that no one will trespass. No one will enter this space without me giving my explicit permission to do so. And so I'm catching that a space to feel safe is perhaps not a bad word as I took it to be, because I am feeling sort of hunted. It's like I'm running and I'm being chased. This is all very new to me. I have not been as tuned in to this need before. It has not been as articulated before. But he provides, once I caught that I need this base camp, this fortress. And obviously I'm my own fortress, but I need a space to recharge. Like any electrical appliance or battery driven appliance, the battery sooner or later at one point needs to be recharged. And I need to have that space to recharge. And so this is, and as soon as I caught this, which I actually caught it a few days ago, that this is what I need, but it became very clear this morning why I need it. I had other stories around why I need this space. But this morning I came to the realization that all these other stories, they're just appearances, they're just what seems to be. And I was actually doing what I call the freedom process. I was going through that this morning again. I haven't gone through it before, but apparently I was not ready to catch what I needed to catch. I was not ready, I was not open and available to catch what I caught this morning. So what I caught this morning is that the highest possibility for me in this condition, in this circumstance, is to be in peace, is to be in love, is to be in joy. And once I knew that, once I had caught that, it was relatively easy for me to understand and to sort of put the dots together, realizing that this space that I need, this breathing space, which is not only which is turning out to be an actual physical place and space. I need that to be in love, to be in joy, to be in kindness. I need to come back to that space. So that is what is true. It is not true that I need to change the other individual. It is not true that I need to remove myself from them. I just need to have a base camp from which I move out into the world. And so I this is what I love about this path. It is always, I remember a while back, I was having a conversation. This is about 2 or 3 months ago. I was having a conversation with a dear friend of mine, and I was sort of saying that, or actually I remember saying that, because we have this thing where we come together and pray for each other. You know, these affirmative prayers that we've been talking about, that I'm moving in and out of in these sessions or these episodes. And she was asking what I wanted to have prayer around, and I remember saying, and this went on for a number of weeks, I remember saying that I have nothing for myself that I need to have a prayer around, which does not mean that things were not going on. I mean, things are always going on. There's always something that I'm moving through. But at that point, I was so steeped in all being well, and I was so steeped in something wonderful is always happening, and I was so steeped in embracing and allowing that which was back then. And now here I'm finding myself so far from that space. Not saying that I've gone backwards, because I haven't, but I'm still in a very reactive mode right now, as opposed to that embracing and allowing that I was in then. So that's the beauty of this. It's like a roller coaster that never ends, but that never goes in circles. It is always venturing into new tunnels, and there's always the next new loop or corkscrew or twist or turn or hill or drop or whatever. There's always something new, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And my God, how much I love this space, and my God, how much I have missed this space. I didn't realize it. I have not thought of this space. It began to come up a few days ago. I felt a tug toward giving myself this space again, treating myself to this space. But yeah, so I don't know, as I began by saying, I don't know how, I don't know about the regularity of these episodes or the frequency of these episodes, or even if this is a one-time thing, or if this is going to be, if this podcast is actually making a comeback. I don't know. But I do know that I so cherish this space, and thus every single one of you who is tuning in to participate, to contribute, regardless of whenever you're tuning in. All right, so discerning what is true and real from what seems to be. And it all comes down to being able to witness what is going on. It comes down to being able to witness what is going on. It comes down to finding a way to allow for that space between the consciousness that we are, that I am, and the content that flows through that consciousness. The reactions, not the reactions, the thoughts, the opinions, the judgments. To find a way to not get pulled into reaction, but to come back to the nowness of this moment, observing, witnessing, embracing, allowing, and then releasing, choosing, responding to the awareness that I am not these experiences. And then obviously being willing to find the way, being willing to learn the lesson being willing, and that is my lesson, to be in this, to sort of stay in this relationship, not running away from it, not terminating it, but staying in it and be of benefit, be of service to myself, which obviously means that I need to release and let go of my thoughts, my opinions, my judgments. And on the other hand, on the flip side of that coin is what I need to develop, or what I need to cultivate. And what I need to cultivate is finding a way to be anchored in the nowness in this moment, finding a way to be in the world and not of the world. So there's a whole bunch of beautiful lessons here for me. As with every challenge, every space that we move through, there's always a gift and a blessing of transformation, always something that we get to learn, always something that we get to release and let go of, always something that we get to cultivate and expand, so that the next great and grand expression of who and what we are may emerge. And once again, this has nothing to do with changing external circumstances. We can move around the world. I could have moved out of this relationship into another, or into no relationship, or whatever, but I would still be there. I'm always bringing me, and as the world is always a reflection of who and what I am in any given moment, in every given moment, as long as I remain who I am, I'm always going to bump into those and these same experiences. So change is never on the outside. I'm not saying that if we are in a space where we may be subject to physical danger or real danger of being hurt or molested or abused or whatever, I'm not saying that we are to stay in that space until we have transformed. No, of course not. First and foremost, we need to make sure that we are safe. In this condition, I'm perfectly safe. This is not about me being in danger of any kind. So it is not for me to try to change the condition, but it is for me to turn within, to look within, change, discern, become aware of what I am bringing to the table. What am I bringing into this condition that is giving rise to my experiences? Because it is never, ever about any external condition. No one, no thing can ever make me or anyone else think anything unless we give them power to. But we always have divine authority, absolute authority over what we think. And it is what we think, it is what I think, it is what I perceive, it is what I identify with, the stories that I'm making up about myself, about the condition, about the other individual. It is these stories that create my experience. It is not the actual, things are the way they are. Things are the way they are. And when we embrace and allow things to be as they are, then there's no resistance, then there's no suffering, then there's no nothing other than isness. Other than isness. And so that is my lesson here. That is one of my lessons here. To find a way to embrace and allow this individual, in this case, to be who, what, and where they are, without letting it get to me, without letting it get under my skin. And so I need to come back to now. And for me to be able to stand firm in the now, I need to have this safe space, this, what did I call it? This base camp that I can withdraw to when I'm catching myself, when I'm becoming aware of being overwhelmed by sensations and by my own thoughts and opinions. So come back to that and then move from that. Come back and move from. Come back and move from. Come back and move from. So this is a completely new direction of my life. Of becoming ever more aware of who I am and the quirky things that I do. And obviously we're all acting and we're all moving, doing the very best we know how to do in any given moment. So there's no blame or shame or guilt here. I'm just becoming aware that I'm moving in sort of circles when it comes to this individual and when it comes to this particular condition. And now, perhaps for the first time, I'm finding a way to permanently move away from these circles, or to permanently allow them, or to periodly allow them to dissolve. They do not serve me at all anymore. They never did. I thought they did. And there's still a voice in my head saying that they do serve me. Yeah, and that's another thing. As I was writing in my journal, and as I have been with this these last few days, that egoic voice is very boisterous, very loud, repeating over and over again, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this work? Why is it up to me to embrace and allow? I'm not doing anything, it's them. It's the other individual, it's their fault. They are to blame. So why do I need to do this work? And that's obviously how the ego works. That's of course how the ego works. All right, so I think we're done. I think I'm done. I think I've fortified this and clarified this enough for me to get moving. So I'm going to bless us out, and then we'll say our goodbyes. All right, so coming back once again to the nowness in this moment, once again to gratitude. I'm so grateful for this path, for who I am, for where I am, for this inner work, for my willingness to do this inner work. I'm grateful beyond words for this podcast, for every single one of you who's tuning in. Knowing that there is only one of us, as God is all that there is, all here now, all here and now. And so I give mighty thanks for the healing that is happening, for the expansion that is happening, for the love that is happening, the peace that is happening, the joy that is happening. I give thanks knowing that this is only the beginning, that this is the starting point of something brand new. As someone once said, we're always at the beginning of our next level, so this is the next level, and we're right at the beginning of it. And then there will be another next level, and another next level, and another next level. I'm grateful for my openness. I give thanks for my openness, my willingness to catch what is real, to catch how I can stand in my own authority, how I can take my power back. I give thanks for it. I give thanks for it. I give thanks for it. Releasing it, I know it's done. I know that the highest possibility for every single one of us is already done in the mind of the Spirit. It already exists. And through our willingness, through our surrender, through our doing this inner work, we're now allowing, making welcome this highest possibility to emerge here in this dimension. We're witnessing, we're observing the manifestation, the demonstration of it right now. Because it is happening now. 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 And now. So I let it be. So it is, so be it, so shall it be, and so we are. Amen. Amen. Ashe. Aho. Hotep. Shalom. Salam. And hallelujah. Until the next time, thank you so much for tuning in. Much love and many blessings. Namaste. You have been listening to an episode of the Path to Freedom podcast with me, Daniel Roqueo. I invite you to stay tuned for more episodes. If you have any questions or comments or just want to get more inspiration and empowerment, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I also invite you to visit my website, danielroqueo.com. I bless your day and I bless your way, you beautiful, wonderful being.